Back in November of 2006, the city of Detroit Lakes revamped its ordinance when it came to dogs, adding a potentially dangerous and a dangerous dog category and a process to deal with it. However, this last summer here was probably the first time we've seen this policy actually have to be pushed all the way forward. Not to say that we haven't had dog attacks or dangerous dog situations. It's just it seems like dog owners prior to what happened a few months ago were more cooperative with law enforcement when these situations came about. I'm referring to situations on the north end of Detroit Lakes on Minnesota Avenue where an owner living in that area had a white pit bull that back on June 15th left its yard, went into a public street and attacked two poodles being walked by their owner, killing both of the poodles. One of them had to be put down actually at the vet. The other one was pretty much brain dead there. So technically both put down at the vet, but because of the grave injuries that they sustained in that fight. 1 month later in July, that same dog did the same thing again. After the first incident, the dog was being labeled as a potentially dangerous dog. The second one, it was labeled as a potentially dangerous dog. Some neighbors in the area, understandably, were very, very upset after the first attack, especially after the second attack. At this moment, I'm not sure where the dog is, but my sneaking suspicion is that dog has probably been put down, if not permanently removed from the owner, who did have a process, 14 days to get the dog registered and so forth. But that's what I want to talk about a little bit here, is really the process. There were a lot of people in that neighborhood that either didn't know what the city ordinance was, didn't look it up, or frankly just didn't care. And there is a process for dealing with these situations, and it's not fast. It takes a little while. The person that owns that animal also has rights as well. And I think there were a lot of other aggravating factors, such as the neighbors, I think, just not liking the particular owner of this dog, and maybe a few other characteristics that also played into some of the venom that I heard and saw from other people in that neighborhood and on other reports. I'm speaking specifically to some statements by people that said they wanted this neighbor gone. They wanted harsh penalties for this. Stuff that seemed very, very venomous, very, very much so like there's more behind it than just the actual incident that which occurred. But let's focus on and work on the incident. First off, I've read through the City of Detroit Lakes dog ordinance, and once you have had a dangerous designation of your dog, and basically you get it if your dog kills another animal or severely injures another animal and or person, and pretty much if it's a person, they put the animal down almost right away. But anybody that has a potentially dangerous dog would have to put up some kind of a sign. They have to pay the city a $300 to $500 licensing fee per year for that animal, plus $300,000 of liability, and the dog must be muzzled outside and never outside without a leash. These conditions, apparently the owner of this pit bull was not able to comply. It's why the city impounded the animal, and it's why I fear that animal has probably been put down at this point because of this dangerous dog distinction. In fact, everyone in the city of Detroit Lakes technically should have to get their dog registered, and there's only a 2-dog maximum for the city of Detroit Lakes. That was also added in that ordinance back in 2006. But really, I don't think the ordinance has any real problems with it. There are people in the neighborhood that were complaining a lot, blowing up the chief's cell phone, I'm sure, coming to city council meetings to speak about it. But in the end, the dog has been removed. And this is really the first time they've had a situation where the owners didn't cooperate. Typically, people that have dogs that have incidents cooperate with law enforcement. This was an exception, not the rule. I think the ordinance worked for the city of Detroit Lakes. I think the neighborhood is safer today. It might not have been as fast as they wanted, but government never works as quick as we'd like. But as long as it gets the right answer in the end, we should be happy.